Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows. Today I watched Justice League X RWBY, Heroes and Huntsmen Part 1. Besides being a mouthful in the first part of a multi-part series, it's also a franchise mashup that takes 6 members of the Justice League, reverts them to their teenage selves, and sends them on an adventure with 7 huntsmen from the world of Remnant. Directed by Kerry Shawcross and written by Megan Fitzmartin, this story sees the 2 famous groups work together to solve the mystery of where they are while fighting monsters called Grims from the RWBY universe. The Grims come with upgraded powers and start exhibiting new behaviors, while the 6 superheroes from Earth have their powers altered to reflect the new world they're trapped in. The heroes pair off with huntsmen from the RWBY group, and then each group splits off to accomplish its own mission. Superman and RWBY, Yang, Blake and Wonder Woman, Joan and Jessica Cruz, Cyborg, Lyren and Nora, and Batman and Weiss. The Flash and Vixen get relegated to side characters, but the others get to work on an emotional issue together, and everyone gets their time to shine during battle sequences. The storylines aren't all that deep, have a few holes in them, and cover some fairly common topics for superhero stories, but they work well enough for the purposes of the film. The holes mostly come from how silly the villain's plans are and how unexplained the world is. The villain is a deeply unserious character that doesn't make much of an appearance throughout the film, as they prefer to manipulate events from the shadows. The choices they make directly allow the heroes a chance to fight back, and without a presence throughout the film, they just come off as rushed and comical when they finally do show up. The driving force in the film comes from the mystery created by the lack of answers. It's a neat little gimmick for the first 20 to 30 minutes of the film, but after that it becomes somewhat apparent that there aren't any in-depth answers coming. The film is more focused on developing the relationships between the characters and showing off its battle sequences than fleshing out the premise or the villain. The main attraction of the film is the battles. There are high-action anime sequences that see the huntsmen and the heroes facing off against a variety of large black animals with ferocious speed and strength. Through the use of weaponry and powers, they take on these creatures with flashy movements, lots of cool magic and effects, and create some truly cinematic action. The animation is top-notch during the fights, and as I said earlier, the camera moves around the battlefield a lot, giving each of the characters their time in the spotlight. It fluidly swaps focus from the heroes to the huntsmen as they smash, stab, and slice their way through the monstrous hordes. We get a good mixture of power combinations and team-ups, and it's all backed up with an amazing battle soundtrack. High-octane tracks with a plethora of instruments make each and every action sequence feel like a momentous feat. The monsters look scary, but their bark ends up being worse than their bite. They work well as cannon fodder for the heroes to smash through, allowing the writers to come up with a lot of creative ways to kill them. But beyond that, they never offer a real challenge to the team of heroes. Visually, the animation is done in a basic anime style that works well for the action and for visual gags, but doesn't capture emotions in any great detail. They came up with unique designs for most of the superheroes from Earth to help them fit in with the RWBY crowd. We see cool new costumes and character designs for Superman, Batman, Cyborg, The Flash, and Jessica Cruz. New age, more shonen protagonist style appearances, in which they're all young, fashionable, attractive, and still resemble their former selves. Wonder Woman somehow got skipped and just wears her normal costume with a slightly smaller body. Sound-wise, the film does an amazing job of picking the track with the right mood and tempo to perfectly accentuate the scenery. There are a lot of big moments where the scenery and the music come together to create something special, and there's even one amazing gag that introduces a fantastic battle score. My favorite moment in the film is this moment when Batman is about to fight and there's a guy in the room playing the piano. The pianist sees the fight breaking out and starts flipping through the pages like mad before he finds the perfect piece. He cracks his fingers and then starts playing this awesome, energetic, new age battle waltz. It perfectly frames the fight and made me laugh so hard. He was like the perfect memer. The cast does a good job of their roles, with all of the voice actors from the RWBY show returning to voice their characters and a host of new voices to act out the heroes from Earth. There's lots of emotion put into their performances and a few big moments here and there for the cast. Jeannie Tirado stands out the most with her role as Jessica Cruz, the Green Lantern. She plays a deeply flawed hero who's struggling with self-confidence in the absence of her lantern ring. In usual Green Lantern fashion, she has to find courage and in her darkest moment recites the Green Lantern mantra. She does an amazing job of it, easily giving me goosebumps. The one problem I did have with the voice acting was how eerily similar the voices sounded. There are a lot of high-pitched, piercing voices among the cast, especially amongst the women, and it was hard to tell them apart at times. Overall, the film is a bit of a cash grab, but it's done well. The story follows a boilerplate formula about the heroes getting trapped in a new environment and having to figure a way out. It takes 2 groups of famous characters and mixes them up, and it's actually a lot of fun to watch. The 2 groups of characters play off of each other well, and the film does a good job of giving everyone just enough time to feel like individual people as opposed to a collective cast. They could have done with fewer characters or a longer runtime, but the action is solid and the visuals and soundtrack are well done enough that I feel confident saying this film is a worthwhile endeavor. It's a solid superhero film that tells many versions of common hero stories. It's not breaking any new ground, but that's okay. 7 out of 10. And remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Bye-bye.